Hi everybody, welcome back to my campaign PvP series. We are now taking a look at my level 16-ish PvP defenses. Showed you last time the attacks that I had and they were moderately successful. So we're going to look at see what's been going on with our PvP defense. So based off of this screen here, we do have at least a few PvP wins here. I do need to make a couple things clear here. Those wins were since getting put onto the new season here. So there's a lot of PvP defenses that were before I revised this team. So even though it says that I lost 10 of them, all of those 10 were probably from the last time around. Well, I shouldn't say that, but a bunch of the 10 were from the last time around before I actually updated. The defense in general has been going pretty well, so we're going to take a look at what's going on here. So in this first match here, we're dealing with a couple of legendaries, Ponti and Valken. Both of those guys are really good right out of the gate. So unless we get really lucky with the initial defense, which in this case, the charm was on the worst possible hero with Dagrun, because he's not going to be attacking. Had that charm went on Ponti, that probably would have been a better version. We know Valken wasn't going to miss, but it would have been nice to just have anybody else. Now, the worst part about Valken is not the fact that he wouldn't miss, but the fact that he's going to freeze. That's what really makes this one over before it starts with. So that's why PvP early on, when people have Igorok or Ice Bloom or even Valken, they tend to win a lot more than they lose because of that process. So once I actually get my first ×10 summon, I'm going to be hoping for either Valken or Igorok or Ice Bloom, because those guys will be really helpful for early on PvP. So even though a couple of these guys want to put up a fight, really there's no chance of winning this one. It's when you come into my house with a bunch of legendary heroes, even though they're lower levels, they're going to win this one more often than not, and nothing I can do about that. That is the name of the game. So once I get better heroes, I'll be able to defend against this a little bit more. So yeah, realistically, if we would have charmed Ponti to start with, his Doom Bolt might have done some good damage against Valken, and maybe ultimately killed him. But I mentioned in one of my other priority videos, Valken has a really amazing energy usage, so he's going to get that up in low-level PvP. He's going to get that artillery up a lot. Okay, so right off the bat, we deal with one of our first losses. Let's continue through here, see how our defense is faring here. So we're going to go and we're going to do the most recent available one here. We only have 5 to look through, so we'll take a look at this guy here first. So we have a mixed bag here. We have energy team, revive, armor, and then a couple of little beasties. So Jabberjaw and Zerk. Zerk by himself isn't that great. I don't have any casters, so not too dangerous there. Echo, unless he's got his electric storm, isn't going to be much to worry about either, other than just giving them some energy. Realistically, I'm expecting Darius to mop up. And she killed Jabber, which is good. I didn't expect her to kill everybody, but there's our resurrection. If I was him, Mr. Charzy Picks, I probably would have waited for somebody else to die and then maybe res them instead. Jabberjaw kind of sucks even with his recent upgrades. So in this case here, I'm guessing he's a little disappointed that Zerk didn't kill Yasmin, which in my case, I'll blame that on the elemental deficiency, but ultimately she died anyways. So overall, if I was this guy, I would have been looking pretty confident, but yeah, when you get 2 elemental disadvantages with Darius and Ella both coming at Emily, now that the taunt is up, it's pretty much it. And those other guys are just so lightly armored. Better off coming back into this one when higher levels. So, but I like how it turned out. The only person that died was Yasmin, and she didn't really matter to the team as much as the other guys did, other than make it inconvenience for the attackers. All right, Mr. Zoo 14664. Don't know what that means. Don't really care. Just looking at the initial piece of the replay, it looks like it's going to be pretty rough on him. Ultimately brought in a pretty decent team. Obviously, Alexandros is the questionable one here. I wouldn't have brought him personally. And also, level-wise, not really a huge disadvantage there. I mean, he's pretty on par. Ella doesn't need the levels per se because of the charm. But the worst thing he could have done here is actually put Alex in the rotation first. I think that was a bad idea because it would have been better to get an attack off first. So if you happen to be someone who follows me or watches me, note to self: don't put Alexandros first, or really even at all in your team. So there's plenty of other heroes. I know he was probably a recent 3-star summon from the heroic portal, if that's where you got him. Certainly you want to test him out and such like that, but word from the wise, Alexandros is terrible, even at level 70, fully ascended, and even with best runes. So don't put a lot of stock in him. Once we heal and taunt, this one here is going to be pretty much over. There's going to be nothing they can actually do here. And Ella, because he didn't level up, Ella isn't going to do much damage either. So now it's just a matter of waiting for them to die. In general, fairly slow going, kind of boring. Nothing too, too critical here. It'd be better if your Alexandros was fully ascended at this point, but I don't know that anybody at level 15 has the evos in order to fully ascend almost anybody except for the weakest of heroes. A weak Alexandros can actually taunt, so that would be helpful. Here's another one that looks like it is a full. It wasn't a full team wipe, but somebody coming in with a little bit of a level disadvantage. I don't know how many people are actually looking at runes this low, or if they don't think their runes matter as much. But just as a reminder for those that watched the last video, I did put runes on these people. So I mean, even though they're junk runes, it's still better than just being level 16. So it may ultimately make them level 18 or 19. So when you consider that, you're going a 14, 15 against the 18 or a 19, you're probably not going to win a lot of those fights without 3-star heroes. In this case here, 3-star Furnace is nothing to, worry about. Without his ascensions, Furnace is, almost comical. I remember when I first got Furnace on my main account. Furnace was actually the first time I actually spent money in a game, and it was about the only time in the game where I really had some buyer's remorse because he was like one of the first constructs that came out. I think he actually was the first official construct, and I thought that was going to be a whole new level of gameplay without having the ability to be debuffed and stuff like that, and I just found him extremely underwhelming. He wasn't really useful in campaign dungeons. I found this attack pretty cool. That little dribble of an attack did 0.2 damage, so I thought that was pretty funny. That's one of the coolest things about Furnace is when he has that failed attack, and it's just a little rabbit turd of a cannonball. So he also does not have his abs of steel at this phase here, but honestly, I'm not doing enough damage. The abs of steel are going to matter anyways, but he also isn't going to do enough damage to me either, so it's just a matter of slowly poking away. Overall, we can see where this is going here. It's not very exciting. I would fast forward, but I'm afraid I'm gonna lose some of the video here, so I'm not gonna toy with it just yet. He's only got a couple of hits left, and should be one more, and he should be dead. There he goes. Okay, next up. Mr. Boss Mangler. Sounds like a cool name, but again, coming in with a pretty sizable level discrepancy, and he didn't bring any attackers. Now, if you're going to want to get past my Stonefist wall, you got to bring attackers. So if you're not coming in with a couple of AoEs or a couple of casters, you're going to have a hard time getting past my Stonefist. The people that actually do well are going to be the people that can get a kill off before I taunt, and you're not going to do that by bringing in 2 tanks and Rogar. Now, unless your Rogar is the best in the world, he's just not going to be very effective against this team because he doesn't have any elemental advantage. he's not going to do much damage to Yasmin or Stonefist, and both of my girls are going to go before him. So yeah, he barely damaged anybody, even at the same level. So overly not concerned about Rogar. So next time, bring some casters in. Obviously, someone that can freeze. If you brought in Selwyn, he would be a good one for going against this one. Still going to be at the whim of my taunt, but you mitigate some of that initial damage. And so now we're dealing with two weakened teams duking it out here. Nice little slugfest, and this is the type of PvP that I like. I've mentioned this many times before, when it goes multiple turns and not just over after the first round. So I killed his Yasmin. He'll probably kill, well, no, he's not going to kill me now because Stonefist is taunting. I was going to say maybe he would kill my Yasmin or my Ella, but that's unlikely to happen. And we're just waiting. I'm actually going to speed this one up just a little bit here because it is going to be a long one. So let me get that going here. All right, so here we go. We do got another attack that came in just a few moments ago. We're going to look at Trope first. This one here was an absolute beatdown. So they got a level advantage, and they have Legendary Bramble and 3 other heroic people. So there's no surprise that that one won. Same with this one here. We have 2 heroics, Emily and Stonefist. Basically, both of those are just strong teams coming into my house. There's not going to be any, managing that. All right, so let's look at this one here as far as revenge goes, just to see if we can survive. So the worst part about this one is dealing with the Sifu Jianzi. He can one-shot a lot of people. He's not really used much at level 70. I had kind of been planning on working him into my rotation back when Zen was the primary leadoff. But I just don't have that option anymore. But Sifu is able to really one-shot almost anybody that he wants. His first attack is an absolute beast. So this one here, I lost my primary damage dealer right from the start, which not much I could do about that. And then overall, they just have a far superior team for level equivalency, using heroic heroes versus my bottom of the barrel heroes. Just they can't compete. And even if I did manage to kill one of them, I'm dealing with Emily reviving, and now there's nothing I can do about that without a massive AoE. So if I was able to somehow kill Emily early, really the only way that would have happened would be if my charm on Kozar would have done some serious damage, and if Sifu wouldn't have targeted Darius to start with. Maybe Darius could have finished her off, but even then with armor, it's unlikely. So we see there was just another beatdown, not revenging that one. So that pretty much wraps up this instance of PvP defense. Like I said, it comes down to mostly if you have the first ascension, that's going to get you a long ways. Otherwise, it's just a matter of having strong heroes. So we will check back again around level 20. Until then, keep on keeping on. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thanks.